All right. We're live once again. Welcome back. Yes, I'm back already. A lot of stuff to deal with here lately. So let's get started. I'm going to try not to take up too much of your time. But I want to make sure that I don't confuse anybody. See the title, right? Fear and hate for what's natural while worshiping mutants, right? So, big shout out to everybody in the building. Mutt Slayer, Google, Lacrids, Stars, ABQ Girl, Yonko. Y'all see these movies. There are even some cartoons in here. And this is a small number. This is the tip of the iceberg. All the movies, commercials, cartoons that have been made about dogs. And the intent is to get people to fall in love with dogs. Isn't that right? No other animal gets this type of treatment. No other animal is exalted this way. Or should I say no animal? Because dogs are not true animals. They're in an animal form, yes. But they're mutated. Mutated animals. These are mutants. And why does everything have to be so backwards? Why all the hate and fear for everything that is natural in this praise and worship of everything that's unnatural? Just give that some thought and reflect on today's world. Look at how things that are unnatural are really placed above things that are natural. It's like a war against everything that's natural. And this is going to be the downfall of modern man. Going against the grain and being at war with nature. There are too many movies, too many cartoons to count, too many to name. Here you have 4 rows, 6 in each row. This is intended to brainwash the population into viewing dogs as angels sent from heaven that we don't deserve, that we just have to have, that we should welcome in society just as we would welcome any other human being. They should be treated like human beings. Their life is just as important as ours. That is what these movies and cartoons, that's what they're intended to do. And no animal on earth gets this type of treatment. So you would think that dogs would be the most pampered creatures in society. And they are. They are. They are the most pampered creatures on the planet. However, they are also the most hated. Now, how could that be? These things get shot more than any other animal. Really, they even get shot more than animals that they've made a sport out of shooting. There are more dogs found shot and beaten than there are deer and elk that gets hunted by hunters. Why is that? Why do you think that is? I believe the reason for that is because we're not truly intended to pamper these things. It's unnatural. It is not our destiny. It's not natural for us to embrace dogs just as we would humans. To embrace dogs the way that we do in today's society. It is backwards. Backwards. Just like dog backwards is God. Dogs are these people's God. They truly are. But
new developments, a Navy.
Excuse me. But because God backwards is dog, suggests to me that dogs are actually demons. With the most vicious of all the demons being bully breeds. That's what I believe. Dogs are demons in the flesh. See, demons simply use dogs to manifest themselves in the flesh. That's all that is. Believe it or not, there are more dimensions to our existence.
Tonight we're taking a close.
Excuse me, to our existence than the ones that we are aware of. And that is a fact. We all should know that. That's not theory or nothing crazy like that. That's a fact. So why is it that even after all of these movies, cartoons, they come out all the time, why is it that dogs are still the most beaten, the most shot, the most complained about? At the same time, they have all these movies and cartoons. They also create a unit of our law enforcement, animal control, specifically designed for them. In other words, we treat them like the most problematic creatures on earth. That's undeniable as well. Animal control is not in charge of detaining and restraining any other animal. In many parts of the world, they are not called animal control. They just flat out call them dog control. Because that's the only animal that they get called for. It's only dogs that send people into a panic when they roam around off leash. We see any other animal off leash, nobody gets afraid. We treat them like the worst, most problematic animals, if you want to call them that, on earth, do we not? They're the only so-called animals that you have to train to not attack you. That you have to train, period. That you have to augment your behavior for so that it don't attack you. We treat these things like what they actually are. And at the same time, we're brainwashed with propaganda that tells us that they're our best friend, that we should love them, that we should want and need them. How can they still run this propaganda on the population and treat dogs like problematic creatures the way that we do? Shelters, these people even have to lie in order to adopt these things out. They have to conceal the history of these dogs. Right? You got muzzles. We don't put muzzles on any other animal on this planet. Again, we treat dogs like they're the most dangerous, most problematic creatures on earth. We don't think to muzzle any animal on this planet because animals don't need muzzles. Natural animals are designed to coexist with humans on this planet. We are designed to coexist with them. Why? Because they are natural. And humans are natural. Dogs are not natural. That's just a fact. But I want to show you. I want to show you something. I want to show y'all something here. Check this out.
These four mountain lion encounters could honestly cause you to never enter a forest again. Number 4. In British Columbia, an unarmed man had his relaxing hike quickly turn for the worse when he ended up being relentlessly stalked by a fearless mountain lion. Initially, he pulls out
of these 4 vicious stories about mountain lion encounters. And then what he say? Being viciously stalked.
This mountain lion and he turned for the worse when he ended up being relentlessly stalked by a fearless mountain lion. Initially, he pulls out his
Did y'all see how cool, calm, and collected that mountain lion was? This fearless mountain lion, this horrific, terrifying mountain lion. Oh. This mountain lion is showing calmness like you would never see from a dog. Keep that in mind. Pay attention to the behavior of these animals, these natural animals, which dogs are not.
Camera after spotting the sneaky animal slowly creeping up on him from the tall grass up ahead.
This is really freaky. That is a mountain lion, and he's stalking me.
They both stare each other down for many stressful minutes before the predator unfortunately decides that it wants to come get a closer look.
Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion. How are you doing?
Now in panic mode, the man stands there in absolute fear while the curious predator begins slowly circling around him.
The curious predator. This man breathing hard. Hi, Mr. Lion. If that was a dog, do you know this lunatic? Hey, boy, come here, boy. Oh, look at you. But do you know how a dog would be behaving right now? Especially a large dog, especially a bully breed. It would be barking, lunging. He would have been attacked by now. But yeah, and they're playing this scary music in the background. Oh, terrifying mountain lion. This mountain lion is as cool as a cucumber. And it looks like it's just watching this man to see what he wants. This is probably the lion's territory. And you lucky it hasn't attacked you yet. Look at the self-control being displayed by this mountain lion. You in my territory, so I'm looking at you to see if you're going to get out of here. That would make sense. And man, how civilized that behavior is, especially compared to dogs.
This eventually leads to another intense stare down between the two that goes on.
Oh, an intense stare down between the two. They got this scary music in the background. Do you know what's scary? What's really intense is if that were a dog. It would be barking, 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 lunging. Why all of this projecting what's natural as evil? What's up with this fear and hate of things that's natural while you worship dogs? That could be a dog barking, being aggressive, and this dog nut, lunatic, oh, come here, boy. Oh, Pibbles is just uncomfortable. He's just shy. He's attacking me because he's insecure. Not even a full-out attack will cause these people to look at dogs as the fierce predators. These creatures put on full display fearsome behavior, terrifying behavior, leaving us with the worst types of horror movie type of killings and mutilations you can imagine that you've never seen humans sustain from no mountain lion. Yeah, with the mountain lion, you gotta play some scary music. Oh, the terrifying, fearless lion. This lion is barely even moving. It's so calm and relaxed. Does this thing look like it's full of anxiety? Let's continue.
For many minutes. The clip jumps to another point where the man seems to have moved up the trail, but sadly, it seems like he still isn't alone.
Stay back. Stay there.
Do you think he would be saying that to a dog? Oh, come here, boy. Come here, boy. But he's scared to death of a mountain lion that is not being aggressive whatsoever. Can't you see? This is so crazy. Even if a natural lion, or excuse me, a natural animal is non-aggressive, is overtly non-aggressive, they are more fearful of them than they are with an aggressive dog. We just watched on video two dogs literally tearing a woman's face off. And these law enforcement officers refused to shoot them. Oh, they're keeping us at bay. They were out there for like a half hour, 45 minutes, while that woman was in there getting mutilated. Y'all think they would have did that for a mountain lion? I don't think so.
I'm not afraid of you.
Finally,
What? The mountain lion backed up. He getting all brave and aggressive. I'm not afraid of you. How bizarre is this? How bizarre is this? If this ain't the biggest display of lunacy, I don't know what is. Shout out to Morpheus Christos in the super chat. Says it's a real shame how dog lovers have more sympathy for their mutilating mutts than the actual victims of dog attacks. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life.
The animal, thankfully, loses interest and simply walks away while the man stands there in utter
Do y'all think a dog would have done that? Would have not growled, not barked, just looked, and then walked away calmly like this? It's because dogs are not natural animals. This is how a natural predator behaves. Eat your heart out, dog nuts. You found the wrong channel. We got you lunatics under a big fat microscope. There is no dog that would have behaved like this. The behavior you see from dogs is not natural. It's mutant behavior. Mutant behavior.
disbelief. Number 3. In some rural area, 4 brave men stumbled upon a trapped but very fierce mountain lion and decided that they were going to attempt the impossible. After spotting the poor animal, they equip themselves with restraining poles and begin to slowly approach it. Very clearly, the fierce cougar is not too happy about having visitors.
The fierce cougar. And notice he said that they simply spotted it. People, this mountain lion is caught in a bear trap. Soak on that for a minute. Listen to how they describe this scenario, people.
Some rural area, 4 brave men stumbled upon a trapped but very fierce mountain lion and decided that they were going to attempt the impossible. After
Trapped but very fierce. It's over here caught in a bear trap. If that was a dog, they would have some sad music in the background. The narrator would be talking about this poor innocent pooch has been trapped in a bear trap. Its hind legs, it's in agony and pain. This mountain lion caught in a bear trap, and they still got the scary music in the background, still calling it fierce and deadly and dangerous. Oh, look at this fierce, angry mountain lion. Is just as calm as could be, even while it's in a bear trap. This is a moment when it should panic, and it's still not. The behavior of a natural animal.
possible. After spotting the poor animal, they equip themselves with restraining poles and begin to slowly approach it. Very clearly, the fierce cougar is not too happy about having visitors.
If he comes to you, he'll get you there. Yeah, come in from the side. Don't fall down.
After carefully planning their approach, one of the men courageously attempts to hook the animal with his pole in order to...
Courageously. Oh, the brave men. Oh, the courageous men. If that were a dog, they would not be saying that. We approach the injured pooch calmly. This good Samaritan takes the initiative and tries to free the harmless angel. Listen to the language here.
Pull it towards him. What happens next is truly incredible.
We got him. We got it. Michael, we're good. You gotta hold him for a sec. Okay, we're done.
Okay, Charlie, get away from there.
With the predator now free from the trap, the man on the restraining pole now has only one thing left to do.
Release him and go?
Yeah.
Run like hell?
Oh no, that ain't gonna work.
Thankfully, they manage to safely retrieve their restraining pole and proceed to proudly move on with their...
So you got two fierce, deadly mountain lions that just wandered off away from humans. Even while this thing was injured and in pain, it was not lunging, hissing, or none of that. As soon as they let him go, he went on about his business. It could have attacked him, easily killed him. Y'all think a dog would have behaved like that? The behavior of a natural animal. These worthless, good-for-nothing mutants. Stop looking at their anger as something unique to animals. No, it's unique to dogs and dogs alone. That is why it is perfectly okay to hate dogs. Because you are hating something that's unnatural. There's a reason why I hate dogs. They don't act like animals. They don't act like nothing created by nature. Man made them. And man needs to put them down.
Day. Number 2. In South Dakota, two friends had their seemingly average turkey hunting trip take a truly unexpected turn. While roaming around the deep forest, they unfortunately identify what seems to be freshly made footprints in the snow.
Look at that. That's his track right there. It's as big as my fist. And then he ran up there.
Although weird, they don't think much of it and decide to move on with their day. That's until they discover something else that seriously begins to make them worry.
We found a mountain lion kill. There's mountain lion tracks everywhere, and it's hidden these trees. And
That's a mountain lion kill. Keep in mind, predators become more aggressive when they think you're going to try to take their food. When there is a kill nearby, they're going to become more aggressive. Note how lions, African lions, become more aggressive when it's feeding time.
it's like it's covered in hair.
The next day, this all finally makes sense when they spot a huge mountain lion staring at them just up the hill.
Oh my god, there's a freaking mountain lion. Look at that, those deer are about to get pounced on. There he goes.
Out of
Uh-oh, the lion spotted them, and what did the lion do? When have you ever seen a dog react like that to a stranger? Isn't it more clear now how much dogs behave like mutants, abnormal creatures? I want y'all to become associated with the behavior of natural creatures on this. This is the behavior of an animal that's designed by nature to coexist with us. We need to respect that. The problem is these people, these dog nuts, they don't respect that. They have no respect for natural animals. Instead, they want to pass laws to kill these animals for sport.
nowhere, it sprints up the hill and roams around the top for a little bit, but eventually walks down the other side and disappears back into the vast.
Walks away. Man, oh man, this is infuriating as well, man. This makes me mad.
Forest. Number 1. In some small rural town, a cougar relaxing on someone's front porch wasn't too happy about being interrupted by incoming cops. At first, the man pulls out his camera after spotting the cop car pulling up to the side.
I agree with you, Kitty. I don't like it when they show up either. This is awesome.
Eventually, the brave police officers can be seen slowly approaching the scene with their guns and peeking through the fence in order to...
You think they would be doing that with dogs? Come here, boy. They all scared, got their guns out and cocked, shaking and trembling, moving slow. Oh, look at that fierce animal. Oh. Now, you heard the narrator say that this mountain lion did not appreciate the presence of the police officers. Watch this.
To spot the animal.
He's looking right at you. He's looking right at you.
As the officers come closer, the predator quickly notices their presence and immediately begins to tense up. One of the armed men bravely makes his...
Does this mountain lion look tensed up? You can just imagine how a dog would be behaving right now. This cat is still laid out chilling. It's so harmless, they had to play scary music in the background.
his way across the yard, which quickly triggers the animal to react.
Oh, it reacted. How did it react to human beings approaching it? It got up and went the other way. Oh, that's so terrifying. Oh.
No, he's going into the backyard.
He say the backyard? This cat saw people coming up to it and went in the backyard. Like, oops, I didn't know this was your house. Here, let me go on about my business. And these sick people make it a sport to kill animals like this. Unbelievable.
He's in my yard now.
With the animal now in his yard, the man begins to worry as even more armed police officers begin searching around in hopes to locate the predator.
People, if a dog behaved that calmly, those cops would have put those guns away. They would become even more friendly. Like, wow, look, the dog has not barked. It has not lunged at us. It just jumped up and ran away. Oh, don't be scared, boy. Don't be scared. We won't hurt you. Isn't this a rabbit hole right here? This is a rabbit hole, man. These people are they're lunatics. How much more evidence do we need? It's unbelievable stuff right here. Uh-oh. What did I do here? Sorry about that. Okay, let's continue.
For some reason, the cops walk into the tall grass to advance their search.
They just chased into the tall grass. They'll never find it there. They're sitting ducks.
Chased it in the grass. They'll never find it there. A dog would make its presence known. You're not going to chase a dog down and where the dog hides from you. This is criminal. The way they treat dogs is criminal. Pampering dogs. And it's even more criminal the way they treat and view natural animals, natural predators. Predators. These are predators. This is the behavior of a apex predator that looks at dogs as a meal. Far superior of a killer is these mountain lions. And look at how they behave.
Oh, you boys don't know what you just put yourselves into.
Unfortunately, he stops recording there, and what happens next, sadly, remains a mystery.
Sorry about that. Yes, I was on mute. Sorry. But y'all heard the end of that video where they said what happened next is a mystery. People, nothing happened. Nothing happened. And if a dog had behaved like that, those officers would not have had their guns out or any of that. Now, I know some of you seen this video right here. Keep in mind that this mountain lion was protecting its cubs. So, this is when the lion is at its most aggressive. A lion catch you in their territory and they have cubs, that's usually certain death. But watch this.
Oh, f***. Oh, f***. Oh. Ah! No! Get the f*** away! Get the f*** away! Holy s***. Holy f***. Go! 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 No! No! Go away! Go away! Please go away! Holy s***.
No, you go away. That lion is clearly simply trying to chase him off his territory. It's not trying to attack him. It's trying to scare him away.
Holy oh. Go away. Go away. I'm big and scary. Holy oh.
He out of breath. He breathing hard. He's terrified. He's in fight or flight right now. Do y'all think he would be like this if this were a dog? Especially behaving like this.
Oh, oh. Go away! Go away! You're good. You're a good little kitty cat. Oh. Holy. What's up, dude? Oh. Holy sh**. Nice and slow. Come on. Ah! Roar! No. No. I'm big and scary. I'm big and... Go away. Go away. Go away. Go get your babies. I'm not coming back down, I promise.
Man, there is no way he would react like this if a dog were this calm. Walking. This cat is walking. Dogs charge. If a dog walks like this, dog lovers don't look at him as aggressive. That's when they, oh, good boy. Now, how many of y'all seen this? The most this mountain lion did is this.
No, go away. Go away. No.
Y'all see that behavior right there? That behavior is saying, hey, get out of here. That's not attack mode. It could easily close a distance and catch this man. This how they behave when they don't want to kill you. They just want you to get away from their cubs.
No!
Again, in nature, this is how they coexist with human beings. You come into their territory, they chase you out. It's not in their nature to mutilate you. They chase you away. And now you know, well, okay, we can't go past that area because that's lion territory. Let's make our village over here. Simple as that. But what do dogs do? They leave the wild and invade our territory and are aggressive, 10 times more aggressive than felines. And this is the case for all felines. This video is about a little over 6 minutes long, and all it is what you see right here. No attack, just scared the man away. But these are the fierce, deadly, terrifying animals of the world. So deadly, so wicked that we can kill them on sight. Nobody complains. We can hunt them for sport as if they are so terrible that you can just kill them for sport. Makes no sense. Now, these lunatics act terrified of non-aggressive, non-threatening natural animals. And they coddle to dogs. They pamper dogs. They praise, worship, and honor dogs. So you would think that dogs would not also be the most beaten. Every time you turn around, there's a dog that has been found beaten and or shot.
Neighbors say this man beat his dog senseless for nearly an hour straight. 2 people
beat his dog senseless for nearly an hour straight. Let's pause right there. How is that possible? In this country, really? The country where we got all this praise and worship of dogs, he beat the dog senseless for nearly an hour? My goodness.
nearly an hour straight. Man beat his dog senseless for nearly an hour straight. 2 people called 911 after they watched David Harper beat the dog inside his Golden Gate Estates home. NBC2's Lydia Nussbaum just got her hands on those 911 calls.
Many people were disgusted to learn that David Harper, who lives here, was arrested for beating his pit bull mix.
We left the house. As far as I know, he's still there beating the dog. He's been beating him for about 45 minutes now.
This is the
beating, this is not uncommon. Many of these dog owners, especially the owners of bully breeds, beat these dogs. Why are they beating them? Why are they beating them? Because they're constantly trying to correct the dog's behavior according to them. Dog does something that they don't like. It keeps doing it no matter how many times they try to correct it. And then they get frustrated and eventually beat the dog. I'm not telling people to go beat dogs, nothing like that. But this is what I imagine happens. This is the scenario. And many times they beat these dogs because the dog has attacked someone, has been aggressive. So if they would treat dogs like they're supposed to treat them, the behavior that they're dealing with these dogs is frustrating them. It's not natural animal behavior. Yet they keep trying to force a relationship between themselves and something that's totally unnatural, that's not designed to coexist with humans. So despite all the pro-dog rhetoric, you still have people every day beating and shooting these things. In other words, the presence of dogs really opens the door for dogs to be beaten and shot. And I'm not trying to be a voice for dogs. I'm just pointing out that these dog abuse cases are actually being created and made possible by the dog nut culture itself, which is why it's more reason why they should be banned. Shouldn't allow people to try to force a relationship that's totally unnatural to themselves. You asking for dysfunction. Does this come across to you as an animal that's relieving his stress? That's bringing his levels of anxiety down?
Disturbing 911 call from someone who witnessed a man beating his dog at a Golden Gate Estates home.
I've seen him beat that dog until he couldn't breathe, until Grant couldn't breathe anymore. Sit down, compose himself, and then go back to beating him again.
Collier County Sheriff's deputies charged David Grant Harper.
Wow. He would beat the dog, take a break, catch his breath, then go right back to beating it.
With animal cruelty, a felony.
And has he been drinking or taking any drugs?
No, he hasn't been drinking or taking any drugs that I know of.
Deputies say the dog, named Diesel, had new and old bruises on its body.
That dog is more scared of anything than anything.
They also found a video of Harper punching and whipping him with a leash.
And they should hurry because...
Yeah, they're coming as fast as they can.
Nearby neighbors are heartbroken. Hear what happened to the dog. Deputies say Diesel is being cared for in a secure location. A Collier County judge ordered Harper to surrender all of his animals. One neighbor tells me he also saw Harper with cats. In Golden Gate Estates, Lydia Nussbaum, NBC.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people, they'll say, oh, well, that's just, a few sick people here and there. No. This is an epidemic. This is an epidemic. Like I said, dog ownership itself, as it exists in this country, is abusive to the dogs because we're not designed to coexist. You're trying to force a relationship, a coexistence between two creatures not designed to coexist with each other. You're opening the door for cases like this.
For help finding the person who severely injured a pit bull and left it for dead, trapped inside of a suitcase. And we do want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see you may find graphic. CBS 4's Riel Creighton joins us live now with more on the dog's road to recovery. Riel, how's he doing?
Well, it is a difficult sight to see. The dog is on the mend here in the hospital, but his injuries are severe. The good news is the doctors here say that he will live, but now police want to know who would do this. Bandaged, heavily medicated, with stitches covering the top of his head. This one-year-old bully mix, now named Ollie, is a survivor.
It's heartbreaking. You can't imagine how somebody could do something so awful to an innocent animal.
Y'all remember, we remember this story. And what they always avoid talking about is whether or not these people beat these animals in response to an attack. Okay, the humans who own these dogs, you can't consider them disgusting animals now. You can't call the owners of these dogs, evil people. Because if you would have met these people before they did this, they would have been happy with the dog. And you would have said, oh, what a beautiful relationship. Oh, he's such a sweet boy. Do you mind if I pet him? Oh, we don't deserve dogs. Those same types of dog owners end up doing things like this. And a lot of times it's in response to an attack. The dog attacked their baby, attacked their child, attack them. Maybe the human had a temporary insanity or something. I'm not saying anything justified one way or the other. I'm just reporting the news, and this is speculation here. This could have happened. That dog could have attacked someone. And the only logical thing to do is to make it impossible for a scenario like this to go down by banning dog owners. They don't belong with us. Nothing about them is compatible with human beings.
Received at the VCA Hollywood Animal Hospital in emergency overnight Tuesday morning, bleeding with cuts covering nearly his entire body. Rescued after officers followed a puppy's cries to this abandoned building on Lee Street in Hollywood. Discovered near
cuts. So whoever did that started stabbing the dog. Listen, I don't want to see people going into fits of rage like this for no reason.
Flint police.
You know, you should only become, you shouldn't bring this onto yourself. You shouldn't open the door for things like this to happen. Where a dog attacks you, attacks your family, your child, your baby, you flip out, you go crazy, you see your bloody child, and then you flip out and attack the dog. Or now you're facing charges and all this kind of stuff. These things just need to be gotten out of society.
Flint police are investigating after a dog was found beaten to death in its backyard. The dog's owners tell us they can't understand why someone would kill their pup. TV5's Rachel McCrary is talking.
Every story, they say that on every story. We can't understand why someone would do this. At the same time, 14,000 people every day getting bitten by dogs. Well, you can't connect those dots. Don't act confused like you don't know what's going on here. There's a very good chance that these dogs attack someone and these people are taking matters into their own hands. And it's all because they listen to this stupid dog nut propaganda and tried to force a relationship that's not natural to us. This is just causing dysfunction among humans in general.
With the owners and volunteers who helped care for the dog.
It hurts because we love the dog.
Randy Hike and his family are grieving the loss of their family dog, Rocky. Hike says he found the dog beaten to death, covered in blood in their own backyard. The picture's too gruesome to show on TV. Hike says they've had Rocky since he was a puppy.
We've had him 10 years. We got another one in the house because we don't want it to get hurt.
Hike says the weather was slightly warm.
You know, and sometimes people call the police on a dog that's barking, bark, bark, bark. The police ignore the calls. They call the dog warden. We've seen reports where the citizens said that they called the police, made multiple reports. Nobody did anything. So the dog barks, bark, 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 and drive the people crazy. And they end up spazzing out, temporary insanity. It's been proven that this stuff can mess you up mentally, all this barking. Probably on top of that, getting harassed, nobody doing anything. The presence of dogs cause major dysfunctions in civilization, and we need to get them out of here.
Warmer on Monday night, and the family made the mistake of leaving the dog outside all night.
The German Shepherd mix was found Tuesday morning here, still attached to its tether.
Hike's family receives help from Stephanie Isaac and her organization, the Greater Flint.
Okay, yeah. Listen, dog lovers, they want you to immediately chalk this up.
Dog outreach.
Chalk this up as some sick lunatic who simply got off on the idea of seeing a dog suffering in pain. You cannot make an assumption like that. You cannot just automatically assume that it was some sinister potential serial killer type person. What gives you the right to make an assumption like that? Now, maybe some of these are cases of lunatics that's just sick and crazy like that. But some of these cases involve sane people who you would call a dog lover and a good person had you met them before they did this.
Disturbance call. A woman claiming her husband was threatening to kill her. When deputies arrived, they would find more victims inside the home. 13 dogs in all. Detectives say were badly abused and neglected. Today, their owner faced a judge. News 13's Gabrielle Burkhardt reports.
These pit bulls may have cried out for help before, but detectives say they'd been trapped inside cages and their barks weren't heard until Friday night. That's when Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies learned how they'd been living. 48-year-old Antonio Barnott had his first appearance in court today. He faces multiple charges of torture and injury to animals. According to a criminal complaint, Barnott's wife called 911 and said her husband...
What in the world? In the same country, we got all these stupid movies and cartoons? How is this possible?
Had threatened to kill her. When deputies responded, they found 13 dogs on the property in southeast Albuquerque. The complaint says 4 were locked inside a bedroom with lacerations to their chest, shoulders, and legs, and no food or water in sight. Deputies say 4 more were locked in cages. 1 had an untreated broken leg. The dogs had cuts on their faces, bloody lips, and were covered in feces. Injuries law enforcement officers say are consistent with dog fighting and
covered in feces? What in the world? How is this possible in this dog-loving culture, man? It's because there are 2 things going on. There is a force feeding of propaganda, dog nut propaganda. At the same time, people trying to force a very unnatural relationship. You're supposed to be living with animals anyway, but you're living with mutants. You're trying to coexist with mutants as if they're humans. You can't even do that with animals, with real animals, let alone mutants. Right? This is a bed that these people are making, and they're forcing us to lay in it.
Grew suspicious of her boyfriend's treatment of her beloved dogs, she decided to secretly film him. But nothing could have prepared her for the sickening footage she'd captured. What she saw was so bad, in fact, that she called off their wedding altogether. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Gail Cruz from Wonderbot Animals. And here is... Woman calls off her wedding after she sees a video of her fiancé with their dog. Before we begin, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification button for more amazing videos. The film confirmed her worst fears. Mandan's hidden camera confirmed Hermida was indeed assaulting Victoria and Gucci. For instance, in the harrowing footage, Hermida picks up one of the dogs by the scruff of the neck and slams it onto the ground.
Y'all remember this? He headbutted the dog. They actually scrubbed this video from the internet. Now, maybe this was just a sick lunatic. But I'm not going to make an assumption like that. Maybe this guy had temporary insanity. Maybe this guy was pushed to the side by his girlfriend. Maybe he was treated like he was less important than the dog. And he put up with that abuse. Day after day, week after week. And went crazy. Temporarily went insane. She went to work one day and he just lost it. Maybe he tried to talk to her about it. Hey, you always putting your dogs above me. I'm your boyfriend. I'm your lover. And maybe she refused to make him number one. That's abuse. That's spousal abuse. Again, dogs ruin human relationships because they have no business living among us.
In another clip, Hermida sits on the couch holding one dog in his hands. Then, without warning, he headbutts the defenseless animal before throwing it into the air and catching it by its hind legs. From there, he dangles the dog upside down before dropping it.
Okay, y'all remember this. No, y'all, dog lovers, you can't chop all of these cases up as just crazy, sick lunatics, potential serial killers. No. You're not allowed to do that.
New developments. A Navy veteran behind bars for brutally beating his neighbor's dogs.
This man was a veteran, a Navy veteran. Okay? He had to convince a lot of people that he was a sane individual. Right? So I'm not buying this. Many times, these are regular citizens. But because they're trying to live out this propaganda that's being pumped out into the minds of the population, they try to force an unnatural relationship. It does not work. Now listen to this. This is a crazy story. Listen to this.
They found overwhelming evidence leading to his arrest. And 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz is live. And Jennifer, you tell us that these people, or the police rather, already let this guy go?
Yeah, Lindsay, well, they were here back in June searching this home, but at that time they did not have enough evidence to make an arrest. Since then, they've found toxic chemicals, a deadly weapon, and DNA from the dogs he allegedly tortured inside that home.
A 6-month investigation landed 36-year-old David Herbert behind bars. He's accused of abusing 4 different dogs inside this same house, connected to his yard by just this fence.
I couldn't explain why he did it and why only these neighbors here, other than he didn't want pets anywhere near his house.
Since February, police say he broke into the home, poured toxic chemicals on their 2 huskies, and fed them drugs.
An unknown type of chemical was poured on them, causing them to have hair loss and skin burns. In another incident, they appeared to have ingested an unknown substance that caused them to become lethargic.
Weeks later, he got in again, beating them with a baseball bat, leaving 1 dog without an eye.
There was a bat that was located inside the residence that had what appeared to be blood. They went ahead and confirmed that that was blood from one of the animals.
That family moved out, and new pet owners moved in. Shortly after, their 2 dogs were inexplicably let out of the house. 1 was returned, but 1 is still missing. Police served a search warrant at Herbert's home in June. Lab testing connected the dogs to DNA evidence found in his car. 1 was returned, but...
Did y'all hear that? Let me play that again.
The animals.
That family moved out, and new pet owners moved in. Shortly after, their 2 dogs were inexplicably let out of the house.
The dogs were inexplicably let out of the house? What does that mean? Were these people who were just letting their dog roam around off leash? Is that what this was? What do you mean? Inexplicably let out of the house. 1 returned, the other did not. Was this some type of vigilante, former veteran who tried to get assistance from the police department, the dog warden, and got ignored? Got tired of dogs roaming around, and he had temporary insanity? That's why I say, people, we have to be prepared. With body cameras, we see somebody letting their dog off leash, report it, report it, report it. That puts pressure on them. Because if anything happens, you can say, well, I reported this dog being seen off leash before. Now somebody is facing a lawsuit. A big lawsuit. My goodness. Listen, I'm worried about the mental health of this man. I'm worried about his mental health. Nobody seems to be concerned about that.
1 was returned, but 1 is still missing. Police served a search warrant at Herbert's home in June. Lab testing connected the dogs to DNA evidence found in his car.
They evaluated that DNA, and that's where we got our results that came back to show that there was an animal in the back of his car, and those animals were the animals that were injured from that residence.
His backyard set up as a danger.
So he had his neighbor's dogs inside of his own car. How crazy is that? And then he ended up killing the dog. He just turned into a dog serial killer. What would drive a person that insane? This could have been a story of a man who felt like he was not getting any help from the law enforcement, from anybody in the community. Everybody is a dog nut. He lost his mind and went and did something that he shouldn't have. Very sad story.
Danger zone for dogs.
He had some electronic equipment that would stop barking dogs that cause a high pitch in their ears, which would irritate them.
Y'all see that? This man had this device for dogs to stop them from barking with a high-pitched noise. This man could not stand. He couldn't take it no more. The barking, the people letting their dog run around off leash, probably called the law enforcement. He is a veteran. And people just, oh, it's just dogs. You need to lighten up. Maybe he couldn't sleep. Maybe he had cynophobia. This may have been a man with serious problems who was trying to reach out to the proper authorities, the proper members of society, and was shrugged off in favor of worshiping what is unnatural. Unbelievable stuff.
Which would irritate them. Those were set up in his backyard. So he definitely had a thing against pets.
No, he had a thing against dogs. He had a problem with dogs. The man couldn't take it no more. And I'm willing to bet anything he has filed police reports.
The Navy veteran arrested for torturing his neighbor's dog.
Okay, that's the same one. Let's move on to the next. You cannot say this is too many cases for people to say that it's just a bunch of sick lunatics who get off on seeing dogs in pain.
An officer. A Valley man is under arrest tonight accused of beating a dog to death with a sledgehammer. And tonight, it sounds as though he thought he was doing the right thing.
3TV's Mike Watkiss talked with the dog's owner today. He joins us live with an update, Mike.
Yeah, Brandon, was it an act of cruelty or an act of kindness? That's the question in this Phoenix neighborhood today. After a 49-year-old man by the name of Ivan Lawrence was busted yesterday for allegedly taking a sledgehammer not once but twice and hitting a neighbor's dog over the head, killing the 3-year-old blue pit bull by the name of Bo. All went down Sunday.
Okay. This is the owner. Now, why don't we ever have these discussions? Was she being a responsible dog owner? Let's not just, without any information or knowledge of the case, assume that this man was some sick lunatic who got off on seeing dogs hurt. If we're going to have that discussion, let's also have discussion. Was she an irresponsible dog owner? Did she let this thing roam around off leash? After all, how was he able to smash this thing over the head with a sledgehammer? Did he go onto their property? We got to get all the information. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Sunday night, Bo's owners, Kim Jesus Garcia and her family, were away visiting relatives for Easter. Bo and the family's other dog got out through a side gate. Bo was then hit by 2 cars. The dog was injured but able to walk back to his owner's front door as passerby stopped to help, making plans to take the dog to the vet when neighbor Ivan Lawrence reportedly showed up with a sledgehammer, insisting that he was going to put the dog out of its misery. And over the objections of the people who were gathered there, Lawrence then allegedly hitting the dog twice and then leaving it in a pool of blood on the Garcia's front porch.
We couldn't believe it. We were angry. We were hurt mostly, all.
Okay, this man was trying to be a good Samaritan. Put the dog out of its misery. But how did it all begin? Because they are irresponsible dog owners. They were out of town. The dogs escaped. They escaped. So what's the root cause of this problem, of this dog being killed? Accepting dogs into society, treating them like toys, treating them like slaves. This is dog slavery. Your stupid dog slavery system is the root cause of cases like this. If they were not being kept as pets, as items, as property, they wouldn't have been around for anybody to whack them across the head with a sledgehammer trying to put them out of their misery. They wouldn't have been hit by a car. Dogs ruin our relationship. This is unnatural behavior across the board.
The kids, they saw our dog just laying here, blood everywhere. I just can't believe how cruel people are.
They were neighbors. There were children present when he struck that dog with that sledgehammer. The manner in which he took that dog's life, ended that dog's life, it is shocking to hear.
Yeah,
oh, Lord. They're always trying to... This man may have been a very good-hearted man. He may have had good intentions. He probably was a medic or something and knew the dog was in pain, couldn't be resuscitated, couldn't be restored, that it was going to die a slow death anyways. If he's going to decide to kill it, don't have a gun, what you expect him to do? But no, now this man is in trouble. All because the dog shouldn't have been there in the first place. Shouldn't have been in our society in the first place.
He's arrested 28-year-old Sean Thomas Sloan for animal cruelty. A neighbor along Comanche Trail reported seeing Sloan attack his 3-year-old husky dog named Shy. They showed deputies cell phone video of Sloan grabbing the dog and hitting it in the face and neck with a closed fist, contorting the dog's neck to make its snout touch its back, then hitting it again. According to the neighbor, the dog tried to escape and was forced to the ground by its muzzle. Sloan hit the dog again, then it ran under the house. Right now, Sloan...
So he beat this dog, twisted the dog like its body, made its snout touch its rear end, and what is this? My goodness.
Being held in the Parker County Jail on $15,000 bond. The dog was taken to receive medical treatment from a local veterinarian. Katie Johnston for CBS and DFW.
My goodness. My goodness. You got to get these things out of society. They got to go, man. They got to go. All this pro-dog propaganda out here in society, we should never hear about cases like this. We should never hear stories like this. What more do we have to do?
Dogs found.
How much more can or do we have to praise and worship dogs for stories like this to stop emerging? I think it's pretty well established that we are not meant to coexist with dogs.
Found dismembered and dumped in a Detroit basement. Dogs found dismembered and dumped in a Detroit basement.
It was a story that brought our own Ronnie Dahl to tears and had you, Channel 7 viewers, outraged.
After months of investigation and arrest in the case, finally, and who did it? Just as shocking.
Tonight, Ronnie is back with an update on her story to catch a dog killer. And we must warn you, some of the details are very graphic.
On a tree-lined street with manicured lawns, a deep, dark, disturbing secret discovered at a house with a red door. The smells.
This is like one of the worst smells ever.
The sights.
Oh.
The horror are hard to forget.
Is that a tail?
Countless dogs discovered chopped up, mutilated, tortured.
I'm trying to think of that little doggy.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing he was probably alive when they did whatever. Yeah, he could have been. Sorry.
6 months after my story first aired, an arrest and...
Oh, man. Okay, whatever.
Conviction.
It took a lot of investigative work.
And the person responsible, just a child.
We discovered that is a minor. This youngster did make a full confession that he had been not only mutilating dogs, but he had also been torturing them in numerous other ways.
Court records documenting the dark and disturbing details. The teen, who was 14 at the time of the discovery, telling police he killed at least 5 dogs by drowning or suffocation. He would tie the legs of the dogs and put their heads underwater, or tie a bag around the head and watch them die, which could take up to an hour.
It's horrible to think that a child is capable of that type of cruelty to animals.
The teen stated he would steal dogs, some of them family pets, and sometimes he would fight them. Not for money though, but just to see them fight. Sometimes he said it felt good, other times it would make him throw up. Because of his age, we're not releasing his name.
It's obvious that this person has something what we call as a conduct disorder.
Dr. Ansar Mohammed is a psychiatrist with Henry Ford Hospital. He's not treating the
conduct disorder. Now, if the dogs were not in society, they would not have been around for this boy to exercise his conduct disorder on them. Y'all treat dogs like property. You make them easy to access. And then everybody who has some type of mental problem, they have something to act it out on. 14-year-old boy. What in the world is this? Was the boy ever traumatized? Was the boy attacked by a dog? You gotta imagine some of these attack victims, they might want revenge. They're scarred for life. Why would you set up or open the door for a scenario like that? A mentally damaged, traumatized child, 13, 14 years old, gets attacked, recovers, then the child turns into a serial dog killer. Now the child is facing punishment from the law. Very sad situation here.
The team responsible for the dog killings, but has extensive experience in dealing with troubled kids. He says all parents should look for warning signs starting at a young age.
By the age of 7 or 8, the kid is seriously starting to act on the environment in terms of violating the norms, aggression towards the property, tearing apart the house, throwing things, punching holes in the walls, burning things.
The teen, convicted on several charges, is now in juvenile detention.
I feel better knowing that the community is safer with him off the streets.
While in custody, the teenager is...
Okay. The community is safer with this boy off the streets. The boy was killing dogs. Connect those dots for yourself. Let's at least ask one question. Could those dogs have attacked someone had they been alive? Just asking a question. Each of the dogs that he killed, could they have already attacked someone? But they're saying that the community is safer with this dog-killing child off the streets. Okay, whatever you say. Right? I'm being very selective with my language right now. I'm just sharing the news.
We do have some brand new developments tonight in a deadly case of animal abuse involving an adopted dog.
This afternoon, Alexander Girth appeared in court to be formally charged with torturing and killing the 2-year-old mix named Sterling. Our Larry Spruill shows how some quick police work led to the arrest in the case.
Multiple agencies worked on this case to bring the person to justice, but I have to warn you, the details of this case are graphic.
And the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Through a TV monitor, Alexander Girth faced a judge Thursday afternoon, hearing the dog abuse charges he's now facing. Police say Girth is charged with 1 count of killing and torturing an animal in a brutal stabbing and killing of his dog Sterling. Police tell Local 4 Sterling was a 2-year-old pit bull.
Oh my goodness. But we've made it a business to kill and torture cows. I'm not saying this was right or wrong. I'm simply pointing out the hypocrisy. It's a business to kill and torture pigs. They torture those cows and pigs and farm animals. The natural animals that are not trying to attack you. They die slow, in agony and pain. And we made a business out of that. But you'll go to jail. You'll go to prison for killing a dog. I got questions about the hypocrisy here.
Him with multiple stab wounds on January 24th. He was left underneath the picnic table in below freezing temperatures in Grant Park.
Okay? A dog, unnatural creature. No respect for natural animals. Let's kill them for sport, for business, for personal pleasure. Put their head on the wall. Dogs, you better not lay a finger on one hair of a dog, or we're going to prosecute you as if you killed a human being. How backwards is that? How hypocritical is that?
They also noticed a trail of blood from a nearby trash can.
And I want to see justice for this dog because this dog can't speak for himself.
Rose Atkins lives in the neighborhood and she's outraged.
These dog abuse charges, I like to see them go up. We need more stiff penalties for dog abuse.
Police say
we need to be tougher on people who are guilty of child endangerment as well. Why are you talking? We need harsher punishment for people who bring these killers into society. And when a child is attacked, these people need to be punished as if they murdered the child. She want to sit up here and talk about we need harsher penalties for people who abuse dogs. Okay. Let's charge you with child endangerment for simply having possession of the dogs. That's what we need as well.
For dog abuse.
Police say Girth admitted to hitting and punching Sterling on numerous occasions. He also claimed he used the physical abuse as a means of discipline.
There has been in my career cases like this. It does happen, unfortunately, but we worked with local police departments, and I think we handled it the right way.
A judge did grant him a $25,000 bond. He's due back in court on February 11th.
But give the green light to dogs. In fact, give dogs a free bite. Okay? You attack somebody the first time, nothing's going to happen. Oh, we didn't know that you are an aggressive dog. Right? 14,000 bites every day. Oh, you can't consider a dog aggressive until it actually attacks. Or they're going to attack. So what now?
Shocking story out of Des Moines as police are investigating their first animal cruelty case of the year.
A man is accused of shooting and killing a dog in front of its 11-year-old owner. Curtis Madden now facing first-degree animal cruelty charges. According to court documents we obtained today, the 11-year-old was walking her dog when she slipped and lost control of the leash. Her dog, a young boxer named Tyson, began to chase Madden's dog. The girl yelled for Tyson and the dog responded, running back toward her. And that's when police say Madden shot the dog twice, ultimately killing him. Madden told police...
Okay. Can we get his side of the story?
Tyson attacked him, but later changed his story.
New tonight.
Okay. So we're not going to get his side of the story, right? We're just going to assume that these are all crazed lunatics. All crazed lunatics. See, that fits their narrative. Chalk all these people up as vicious, evil haters of dogs. No.
The ID of the teenager who caused outrage in East Texas a while back. 8 months ago, a horrible case of animal cruelty reported in Cherokee County. The woman reportedly shot her dog 10 times, videoing that on Snapchat. She's now been arrested. KTK's Kara Rucker right now joining us live from Jacksonville with reaction from the community there. Once outraged and now maybe relieved. Kara.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what is going on here?
If you're not a dog lover, you will feel for what this pup has been through. Stitched up after being left outside his home for weeks in horrible conditions. This is the man Lee County deputies say is responsible, Robert Callahan. You're watching NBC 2 News at 5. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Kelly.
Oh, make it stop.
Hialeah police arrest a man they say violently killed a dog on West 10th Street. Kenny Amaro told officers the dog acted aggressively and bit him, so he acted in defense. Police say disturbing video says otherwise. It shows Amaro taking off his belt, then strangling the animal. Officers say the video did not show the dog acting aggressively.
Oh, man.
Amaro faces one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
We
have
saw
a really
that story.
awful crime alert to tell you about this afternoon. 2 women are now under arrest, accused of torturing dogs. Metro Police say they were called to an apartment near Harmon and Jones on Friday over a foul smell in the area. Police say 22-year-old Esmeralda Martinez and 21-year-old Blanca Perez left their dogs locked in their kennels without enough food or water for 3 weeks. Police say the women were away from their home and did not try to ask anyone to take care of their...
Okay.
Demanding answers. What happened inside this home that had Detroit police officers shooting 3 family pets and leaving behind a scene that looks something like out of a horror movie?
Oh, the police officer shot him. So, are we to assume that all of these police officers who shoot dogs all the time, are we to assume that these are just a bunch of sick lunatics who get off on seeing dogs in pain, seeing them shot? See, you forget about all the police officers who join in these killings and shootings of dogs. Why do you think so many police officers act out violence against dogs as well? Isn't that evidence that the dogs are giving some of these people a reason to be violent? Our own law enforcement officers are well known. I went over articles where they've said this is an epidemic with police officers shooting dogs. See, your case got harder to prove now. Let's pay attention to the cops who shoot dogs, and it happens all the time. We can't just assume that they're sick lunatics as well. These officers go through a system. Many background checks and all kinds of stuff. That helps build the case that many of these cases involve people reacting to something that the dog did.
And that tops our news at 11. Good evening. It started out as a search warrant being served at a home on Detroit's west side and ended up with 3 dogs shot to death.
In fact, the owner is so angry she's going after the department in federal court. Mara McDonald is live with the story. And Mara, some of the pictures, I saw them from inside the house. They are graphic.
They're bad, Kim. You know, this is the 38-page federal lawsuit that was filed today. And in this lawsuit, you have several pictures, some of which are so gruesome, we just can't put it on TV.
This is the worst one that I've encountered by far.
And Chris Olson isn't new. He's had several cases where police officers are accused of needlessly killing family pets. He says what happened inside this home on Sussex blows the rest of those cases out of the water. This is Debo, Mama, and Smoke. All were at home with...
Notice? They get the names of the dogs. What's the name of the police officers? Huh? And why don't we get the police officer side of the story?
With their owner, Nikita Smith, when DPD came to serve a search warrant at the home for suspected drug sales.
This is a case where the dog owner did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Smith says she told officers there were dogs in the house and that she'd get them out of the way. Putting Debo and Mama in the basement, Smoke was already in the bathroom.
Okay, refer to the dogs again by their names.
First, there was a dog who was in the basement but managed to get around the obstruction to the basement and sat down next to my client. She was about 10 feet away from the police officer.
So she said she put the dogs away. The dogs broke free from the barrier and came back into the room where the cop was.
Who took one look at her dog, who was sitting next to my client, and shot it to death.
That's Debo. Court records claim.
Really? Okay, whatever you say.
The DPD officers then decided to search out and kill all the other dogs, including Smoke, who was in the bathroom.
She watched them open the door, see if there's a dog in there. They closed the door back and shot the dog through the door multiple times, killing the dog.
These are pics of the bullet holes in the door. Last was Mama, the pregnant pit bull, shot and killed in the basement. Back here live, so here's the situation. This lawsuit that we have, it's one side. It's the homeowner's side. Will we ever truly know what happened on the DPD side? That's questionable. Her attorney has tried to get the documentation from DPD that, to see if there was audio or video of what went down in this house, and has been told that there is nothing. So we really won't know definitively whether these officers are going to say these dogs charged or they were aggressive or anything like that at this point.
So we don't know. But you want to package this story as some type of hate crime. So you see how powerful these dog lovers are. They will galvanize even against law enforcement.
Is there at Lee County Sheriff's Office arresting a man suspected of torturing and killing a dog after a months-long investigation. 20-year-old John Smith facing a felony charge of causing a cruel death with pain and suffering of an animal. Smith is accused of cutting out the dog's tongue, shooting it multiple times, and then throwing it in a canal in the Suncoast Estates community in North Fort Myers. The dog was found in late March.
Wow. See, this is caused by an attempt to coexist with creatures that were not designed to coexist with.
New tonight, we're taking a closer look at the case against an upstate man accused of torturing an animal.
7 News' Alessandra Young breaks down what happened and how that puppy's doing.
The Union County Sheriff's Office has
Okay, that is about enough. That's enough. This is pretty ridiculous. There are far too many stories to share here online. But you see all these cases of people in a dog-loving society acting out violence against dogs in the face of more movies and cartoons than you could ever recall. I mean, over, I would say, the past 3 decades, there are more movies and cartoons than you can possibly count. The propaganda, this also comes after raising people in schools where dogs are inside the schools. These kids forced to raise money for dogs. You cannot possibly deify dogs any more than this country does. So why do we still see so many cases like this? Why are dogs still the most beaten and shot? It's because they're trying to force something that's totally backwards and unnatural. We're not designed to coexist with these things. They are mutants. They're not natural animals. Even if they were natural animals, still can't coexist with them as we would another human being. But it would be easier to. With a mutant, it's a lot worse. You see in how natural animals behave compared to how dogs, mutants, behave. So let's see if these people smarten up, even if it's just a little bit. Right? My apologies. I have not been able to check the chat room. Like, I can't watch both the chat room and the, sorry about that. My apologies. Oh, man. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get a team. Those of you who make content, you know how hard it is to sort of create your own content and keep up with other people's content and keep up with emails. At a certain point, it almost gets impossible, you know, because your own content, it takes quite a lot. At least it does for me. Maybe I'm dyslexic, you know, maybe, you know, I'm just not as good at it as others. But it's unfortunate because I'd like to get or watch more content from other content creators. I don't know how much more proof and evidence we need to prove that these things need to be banned. They have no place in society. We cannot release them into the wild. They are totally disruptive and destructive for humans. Our society is several times worse with dogs in our societies. And the evidence, the proof, is spilling over. It's spilling over just literally every day. And I refuse to sit back in silence and not point it out. So big shout out to everybody who tuned in to hear me ramble. I have rambled for quite a while here. Can't believe it. How long have we been on here? Almost 2 hours. About an hour and a half. It's not that bad. But I had to get that off my chest. So stay safe out there. Stay clean. Stay armed as we continue with this crusade against these worthless, good-for-nothing mutants that need to be banned and exterminated and their enabling owners.